Am I audible out there? Hello, everybody. Welcome back from the break. We're going to be starting with our next session. Today, a quick introduction. My name is Krithika Manohar, Senior Director of Product at SupportLogic. So I'm going to be walking you through the GenAI-powered workflows a little bit more in detail. We saw an overview of a lot of those capabilities during the keynote session from Karan this morning. I'm going to be double-clicking on all of those workflows and talking through a little bit more in detail. We'll go through the demos and some under-the-hood details as well. Now, just a year ago, more than 50% of the C-suite were the main blockers when it came to GenAI adoption. They did not really trust the maturity of the technology, but just fast forward a year, and now we see 2 in 3 executives really think that GenAI is going to be the next disruptive technology, and 33% of them are already investing in it. Now, if we look at the economic impact of the different functions, customer support and operations is third in line. Now, there's significant potential to be unlocked. There's about $400 billion worth of value that we are seeing just from customer support and operations, and that's because we are not only able to increase the issue resolution, but we're also increasing the productivity as well. So there's an uplift as well as an increase in the issue resolution with time gain. So as a result, there's a huge impact and a huge interest when it comes to GenAI workflows in customer support and operations. Now, as far as our SupportLogic journey goes, you saw that summarization engine and answer engine are some of the recent investments we've been making in 2023 and 2024. Summarization in general, now in general terms, LLM summarization is, you all know, it takes a large document. It could be a PDF. It could be a knowledge base article. It takes it, condenses it, and gives you a concise summary. Now, when it comes to the CX world, we are talking about agent's call summary, a chat summary. It could be a summary of an account, or it could be a summary of an agent or a product. There's a lot of potential over here. Now, we have built a summarization engine, and with which we have a very robust case summarization, account summarization, and knowledge summarization capabilities in the product. Now, let's start with case summarization. Now, at a surface, case summarization may seem very simple. There's quite a bit of nuances that come with case summarization. One, in general, when we talk about complex cases, there's a lot of information that's involved. There's a lot of technical details in the information, and there's a lot of back and forth involved. Being able to take all that information and create a concise summary while still maintaining the context is a complex challenge. And striking the right balance becomes critical here. We don't want to end up creating a very, very brief summary, which is not useful to anyone. On the other hand, we don't want to have a long, cumbersome summary, which nobody's going to read. Another challenge is that these cases are long-running, and they're evolving over a period of time. So what started off as problem A may not be problem A. It could have transformed into problem B. So being able to carry that long-running context and maintaining the recency when we are creating the summary is another tricky challenge. Thirdly, there's going to be a lot of sentiments, fluctuating sentiments, as the case progresses. There could be ups and downs, which we also want to be able to accurately capture as part of the summary. And last is the sensitive information that's there in the case. There could be just phone numbers, emails. We want to be able to redact or mask that information while creating the summary, but at the same time, give a complete picture to the users. Now, at SupportLogic, we have been able to solve for each one of these challenges with our enhanced case summarization. Now, let's take a look at the demo. We're going to be starting with case summarization from the context of a support manager. Now, we briefly looked at this morning. So support manager, for me, SupportLogic already gives me the right cases. It helps me be proactive by identifying the right cases. Could it be an LTE case? It could be a needs attention, negative case. I don't want to be running through the entire case details, especially if it has like 40, 50 conversations. I don't want to be reading through all of that. Time is essence for me. So seeing this case summary is extremely helpful. And what's more important is it gives me the latest problem. Like I mentioned earlier, the problem could have started as A, and after a lot of troubleshooting, it could have been discovered that there's another underlying problem, B. So our case summary is able to understand where the exact problem is at the given point in time and be able to give it to me as a support manager. And two, we don't want to have the lost in the middle problem where we're looking at the early part of the case or looking at the conversations that happened during the early stages. We don't want to lose track of it, but at the same time, we want to give more weightage to the most recent actions. So that current status is built to be able to remember the context and still give you the latest current status of the case. And last, we have the planned actions. So these are the actions that the agent has been, based on the agent's conversations with the other agents or the customer, there are some deducted next steps that we have identified as part of the summary. So as a support manager, this is extremely helpful for me because now I know exactly what to do next. I can bring in the right people, bring in a swarming team. So it gives me the right actionable insights to move the case forward. Now let's look at it from an agent's perspective. Now, if I'm a support agent, I could be starting off with a new case. I could be starting with a case that somebody handed over to me, or I could be just picking up a case that I was working on a week back. It's just a long-running case. In either case, being able to orient myself to the case and understand what the problem is, understand where the current status is, and knowing what has happened with the case helps me jump into action right away. Now, we talked about the complexities of case summarization. We're seeing what is available right now, but there's a lot more nuances that go behind case summarization. Karan, if we can switch to the, all right. So one is being channel aware. Now, especially with omni-channel cases, a case could have come in as a web case, and then there could have been, owing to the complexity of the case, the agent could have called the customer multiple times. There could be blocks of voice conversations inside a case. There could be case which started off as a chat case and then transformed into a voice case. So it's possible that we have a case which has voice conversation blocks, chat conversation blocks, and just general back and forth information that the agent might have had with other employees in the organization. So being able to understand those units of conversation, summarizing multiple of those in the context of the entire case, and then presenting the latest status and the next steps is extremely important for us to get a holistic view. So we need to be absolutely channel aware. And two is being context aware. When I say context, we're talking about what is the status of the case. Now, maybe it's a likely to escalate case in which case the kind of workflows that I want to take and what kind of summary I want to produce, where I want to present it. Am I going to send it as part of the escalation review? Am I going to present it as part of the alert? So there's a lot of nuances that one could look for when depending on the context of the case itself. So two, we need to be context aware. And three is being persona or role aware. For example, as an escalation manager, the kind of summary that I'm looking for will be very focused on, okay, why did this escalation happen? What exactly did not work, and what do I need to make it work? Versus if I'm a QA manager, the kind of summarization that I'm looking for is going to be centered around the agent performance. I need to know what kind of signals or behaviors went wrong. Likewise, if I'm an executive, I'm looking at a very high-level summary. I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty details. So we need to be persona-aware to be able to generate the right summarization so that we're giving the right insight to the right people. Now, we have built the right level of configurability under the hood to be able to present the right summarization that is channel-aware, context-aware, and persona-aware. Now, under the hoods, we use Anthropic Claude for case summarization. However, we do have a robust ML as a service that is able to seamlessly work with multiple LLM models and multiple LLM vendors. And we are constantly evaluating models for their performance, for scalability, for cost, and also depending upon the context the channel or the persona, the kind of prompts that we want to have or the kind of LLM that would fit best for it is going to change. So we're, on the one hand, we are constantly assessing it because we have the flexibility to do it seamlessly, and two, we are also able to do it in a configurable way. So depending on the input or the need, we are able to use different models. Now, again, as a manager, getting a summary of one case is great, but what would be even more useful is if I can get a summary of a cohort of cases. Now, when I say a cohort of cases, it could be a group of cases tied to a certain topic that's trending. There could be a certain adapter failure, or some topic that is trending right now. I want to see all the cases that are facing that particular issue, and I want to group them all together and get a summary of that case. Or it could be a team. A team could be not performing very well. I want to look at all the cases that are being managed by that team, and I want to get a summary of those cases. Now, what we're doing here is trying to look at the common patterns and underlying issues to identify those common issues as well as emerging issues and key signals and patterns that we are able to detect using our ML engine. Now, what we also want to do, this is not something that we have today, but is based on the common and emerging issues and key signals and patterns to be able to detect the next best actions and then automatically perform these actions. Now, what you're seeing here is a generic way of being able to summarize a cohort of cases. Now, what Karan talked about earlier today is account summarization, which is live in the product today. Let's look at a demo. It's doing exactly the same thing, but just in the context of an account. So given an account, we look at all the cases that are tied to the account, and we are able to generate a summary for that particular account. Now here, as an account manager, there are a couple of insights that I get just by looking at the account summary. Now, there's 3 sections here. Now, the current status is really helping me focus on those issues that are current, burning, and something that we need to really pay attention to. For things like, there's active escalations, there are production issues going on, or there is a business impacting high priority cases that we need to really work on. And then we have signals and risk indicators, which kind of give me the warning signs, such as there's a churn risk, or maybe there's a lot of frustration signals or urgency signals, or maybe there's confusion. So there's a lot of signals that are elevated over here at an account level, so I know exactly what is going on with this account, so I can act appropriately. And third is the overall trends and issues, and this is where we are able to unearth the overall common patterns. Again, these are not things which I may be able to resolve right away. However, by resolving this, we'll be able to fix the health of the account as a whole. Now, let's look at a little bit under the hood on how exactly, what exactly do we do to get the account summarization. So as I mentioned earlier, today the account summarization is based on all the support cases that are tied to it. Now, we feed a lot of facts about the case to the summarization engine for it to be able to generate all the current issues, key signals, and overall trends that we discussed earlier. Now, what are the facts that we feed it with? The case trend, the signals that are detected on the cases, the problems, the issue tags that are detected on the case, and other factors like, what is the customer effort typically involved when dealing with cases of this particular customer, and so on. Now, what's coming next, or what we're working on, is being able to do the same for account level interactions, not just support interactions, but also look at all your customer success interactions, onboarding interactions, et cetera, that are tied directly to the account, and be able to take the facts from those interactions and again feed into the summarization engine, so we are able to generate a holistic summary for the account. Now, yes. Similar to the cohort of cases, again, what will be really useful here is to be able to look at the overall trends and patterns that we already have, and then determine what the next best actions are. And subsequently, what would be even great is to be able to automatically execute those next best actions. And another important element here is to be able to look at patterns across the accounts. While we are summarizing a single account, just like how summarization of a cohort of cases was useful, summarizing a group of accounts for us to be able to determine the patterns across accounts is another area that we will be looking into. All right? So now moving on to the answer engine. Again, we saw Surreal talk about the answer engine this morning. It is powered by our precision-guided RAG solution. This answer engine is capable of taking in domain-specific, long, natural language questions, and it is able to look at complex sources, data sources, and give us precise answers. Now, there's a couple of different modalities through which we expose the answer engine for different personas. We have the agent assist, customer assist, and employee assist. Let's start with agent assist demo. So as an agent, we saw the case summary, which was great. But for me as an agent, what's even more important is knowing exactly how to solve this case. And that's exactly what knowledge summary is giving me. Now, this case could have been a simple case where a solution has already been identified, in which case I would have been presented with the exact solution, which I can take and give it to the customer. Or it could have been a very complex case where there is no obvious solution, but there is enough information hidden in the underlying knowledge base, or it could be information from other cases, other engineering tickets. The information from there is scouted, and we are able to present the right troubleshooting steps for the agent. So the agent now knows that at least he needs to do A, B, and C in order to progress the case to the next step. And as an agent, again, they're going to not just see the summary, but I'm also able to see all the reference knowledge sources because I'm an agent, I want to read more, I want more context, so I can always click into those reference knowledge sources and get more additional context and details that I want. And if I want to do more research, I always have the knowledge search through which I can do my independent research to figure out how I want to go about resolving the case. Now let's look at how exactly all of this is coming together. If we can go to the presentation, Karan. All right. So behind the scenes, what we do is we auto-summarize all the cases. So every time there is a change in the case, we auto-summarize it. And we are able to auto-tag the issues of all the cases. So we have a repository of cases with issues that have been automatically tagged on these cases. And then an agent comes in, I'm opening up a case, and I have a new case that I need to work on. So we run the automatic summarization on this case as well. Now we are able to identify the issue of this new case. Now I have a repository of cases where the issues have been tagged, and I have this new case that has come in. And my case summary not only gives the issue tag, it also gives me the problem statement. So I take the problem statement of the current case. I take the entire case context. I don't pass simple parameters, but I take the entire case as a context. I pass this on to the answer engine. And the answer engine is already powered with a lot of data sources. It has all the knowledge sources that you might have, and it has all the cases, it has all the engineering issues. There's a lot of context, complex sources that it can look into, and it also has the case context and the problem. So looking at all of this, it is able to give me precise answers. Now we take the precise answers, we pass it through our SupportLogic AI engine again, and again we have other LLM summarization engines and other ML capabilities that helps us to get to the knowledge summary. Like I mentioned earlier, under the hood, the LLM that we use for one summarization may, like in this case for auto summarization, we use a different model versus the case summarization, we use a different model. So it's fit for purpose. So once it goes into our SupportLogic AI engine, we are able to get the knowledge summary that we saw in the demo, along with the troubleshooting steps or the resolution. And that knowledge summary can also be used for drafting a response to your customer. And then we also have the Gen AI tools, which will take that draft response, and you can apply the grammar checks, you can do the tonality checks, you can do the translation and all of that. And all of this is great. We saw it in the demo. What's coming next is automatically creating knowledge from the knowledge summary we just saw. Once we have the automatic creation of knowledge, we are also then able to tag that knowledge to the issue or the case and where the issue was found. Now, by being able to create a pattern or make a correlation between the case, the issue, and the knowledge, we are improving the precision of our answer engine. Now, the value of this improved answers or more precise answers is not only going to help me as an agent, but this is also going to help with self-service. It's also going to help customers that are coming in through portal and they're interacting with the answer engine via a portal. So with that, let's go into the demo of customer self-service on portal. Okay. So this portal is, as Surreal showed, is plugged into the same answer engine that is powering the agent assist. So the same thing is leveraged here as well. So it is one looking at the same complex sources. It now has all the refined and great knowledge that it needs to be able to precisely answer your customer's questions through the portal. As you can see, the question over here is quite nuanced. I want to remove a case from escalated list, but be able to get back to it later. How do I do that? Now, that's very domain specific, and that's a very long phrase. We are able to take that and, again, scout through all the knowledge that we have and produce the knowledge summary that you see on the right-hand side. And it also gives you the referenced article, so as your customer can always go and look into the details right from here. Now, another area where the answer engine another persona that the answer engine powers is your employees. Now, the employees can now access knowledge. The knowledge is democratized by giving them access to the knowledge copilot via Slack. Now, here they can come and just do /resolve and type in their question. Very similar to the agent, very similar to your customer. Your agents can also now use natural language. They can type in very long questions, the way they want to phrase it, and we are able to take that in, again, plug it into our answer engine, and give you the same kind of results that you saw in the other two modalities. So here, as you can see, the expand answer, so it gives you it gives you the summary, and it gives you the sources where where the information was referenced from. Well, that brings us to the end of the demos. Quick key takeaways for us. So investment in Gen AI has gained traction, as you saw. Companies are now more willing to invest, especially when it comes to customer support operations. There is a lot of opportunity to unlock. Now, SupportLogic, Gen AI-powered capabilities is a lot in here. We have the summarization capabilities, we have the insights engine, we have the answer engine, which powers the resolutions. All of this is going to significantly improve your agent performance and the support operations efficiency. And our commitment to AI continues. We are investing in agentic engine, and as you all know, that's going to be transforming the whole customer support function. All right. Thank you all for joining us.